Very good. Thank you so much, Wendy. One of the things that I'm always interested in with new technologies, especially the Internet of Things. And when you look at what's out there, I'm very much concerned about what we refer to as the industrial Internet of Things. One of the changes that's coming around because of this is we're starting to refer to not just IT solutions, not just information technology solutions in our companies, but now we're referring a lot to OT solutions or operational technology. And that's one of the key areas where I've seen across the board throughout the world in industrial operations, manufacturing, and anywhere where you're looking at reading or collecting data from sensors, you found that people are moving towards this concept of an operational technology network. The idea of truth or dare, and this is, I'm sure many of you have heard of this before. I thought it was an old model that no one was using anymore until I heard my 7- and 9-year-old grandchildren talking about doing this. So I realized that it's still out there in our culture. It's really a verbal game, and not just for parties. I've heard it done at work where a player is given a choice between answering a question truthfully or performing a dare. Many times, truth or dare is linked to consumption of beer, but we're not going to talk about that so much today. The predicament today, when I look at the Internet of Things, is it really becomes the idea of a truth or dare. What I want to look at and have us look at are the top 10 questions that you probably need to answer to get to the truth of the Internet of Things. And then there's also some dares that you're going to have to accept in order to do this. Although truth or dare may not be used that specifically, I think many times we find that we're faced with this by our bosses or our bosses' bosses who maybe went to a webinar or a conference where the Internet of Things was talked about and how wonderful it's going to be, and then you realize that you end up being a recipient of having to figure out a way to either placate your boss, explain things to your boss, or actually implement something. So finally, I'm going to look at my get down to the changing these. There we go. So when I look at the Internet, the truth or dare roadmap, I'm going to talk about the top 10 truths, the top 10 dares, and then what are the next steps? What are things that you can do to manage this challenge of an Internet of Things? What's really in your lane? What do you have control over? What should you have control over? Who's in charge, and then what happens next? So let's talk first about the top 10 truths within the Internet of Things. And when I look at these, the top 10 truths are, how are you going to implement these different other technologies? The Internet of Things is one small piece of an overall, think of it as an overall environment that you're going to be moving into with automation. It seems like we're constantly going through new generations and looking at new models of how we automate either what we do or the world in which we live. Let's talk first about machine learning. Machine learning is the latest name or the latest set of terms that we use for what we used to call artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, AI, has been around for decades. In fact, if you're familiar at all with AI, there's a language that kind of is the model for artificial intelligence called LISP, L-I-S-P, and it stood for Lisp Processor. And for those of you who've got experience or read on the history of our business, Lisp is older than Fortran. Lisp was one of the first languages that was developed in the 1950s. So we're looking at a fairly mature set of processes. Machine learning, the reason why we care about machine learning with the Internet of Things is that we have to be able to understand where this data is coming from. The Internet of Things is really lots and lots of sensors. It could be your refrigerator. It could be your toaster oven. It probably is your Sirius XM that you've got in your car, or it's the sensors on your car that flash lights and beep at you when you're getting too close to a car in another lane. So this Internet of Things is all of these sensors. Machine learning is necessary to collect the data and really make sense of this raw data. I'll give you an example. We do quite a bit of work with offshore drilling technologies. One of the major drilling technologies in the North Sea is what's called extended reach drilling, where you drill down a few thousand feet, make a sharp turn, a 90-degree turn, and then go out several miles to tap into another oil or gas reservoir. All along that drill string, you've got lots of sensors. These sensors take a horrendous beating. When you think of the vibration, you get deep enough in the earth, you get heat problems and so on. So sensors fail. Well, what you have to have in place are algorithms as you're collecting the data to understand, based on the data, when did that sensor fail? How did the sensor fail? And how do I make sense out of the information that it's sending me now? If I understand how the sensor failed, I don't have to worry about, the data itself that it's sending me. I know the data needs to be changed, but I know how to change it because I know the failure mode. That requires embedded algorithms. That's part of machine learning. Again, going back to your car, if you can set how you want to drive your car, how your car responds to how you drive, whether it's a comfort setting or whether it's a more racing type of setting for your car, that's how the sensors are changed. And so machine learning, these algorithms, we really see them everywhere now, but you have to have that in order to make sense of this Internet of Things. Let's look at the second one, is social, legal, and ethical Internet of Things. I can pretty much, if I've got access to...
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.